So
it's kind of a Clockwork Orange style way of getting you.
Yeah, I'm cured.
Yeah, you don't want to be listening to too much Beethoven while you're doing this.
It just makes you like it less.
Yeah.
And
That's
the only thing the medication does is slow down your digestion. So it's like it's basically kind of telling you that these things that you're not supposed to be eating a lot of to begin with, like high sugar and a lot of fat, these things, were they to sit in your digestive system for too long, they would make you feel ill.
Right. Like it's what it would do normally if your metabolism was that slow, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's really crazy.
It is crazy.
That's wild.
You know what else is a digestive system?
What's that?
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Pixel. My name is Kevin. With me, as always, is Phil. On today's show, we are diving into part 2 of Halo, The Empty Throne.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into it. We now have, by the end of this section, we will understand the people on the cover. We know who, we can identify the people on the cover finally.
We'll be halfway through the book and we'll identify, we'll know who the people on the cover are.
But if you would like to be on the cover of a book, and I don't guarantee that at all, I think you should go to patreon.com/pixelatpod, where you could give us money. And then maybe someday we'll put you on the cover of a book. I don't promise that, but maybe, things
lots of stuff can happen between now and then.
Lots of stuff can happen between now and then. It's true. We have 3 tiers, $1, $5, $10. $5 gets you access to the bonus episodes. $10 gets your name shouted out in the episode. To that end, I want to shout out Jesus Loves You, Kyle Seaman, Ruthless Mutter, Middle Thing, Sigma South, Chet, Beaks, Demothic, Langolier, and Friendly Friend. Thank you for being a friend. We really appreciate you. Yeah, and you can also follow there for free. You could just do that. Go for free, and there's a link to our Discord right on the Patreon page. You don't need to pay anything to get that link to the Discord. So come and hop on in.
Yeah.
So that being said, Phil, you doing good? You great?
Yeah, pretty good. I got about 125 pages of this thing.
That was the most Bill Burr you've ever said anything.
I'm good. It's good. All right, we're going to talk about Halo. Who the fuck is this guy? Now I have to work on that. So I have.
Now you have to. Now you have a goal. Is let's work on some Bill Burr impressions.
That's a worthwhile thing.
I think that's a worthwhile thing. He's got a distinctive enough voice, that I think you can find that. Oh, Billy Bitch Tits.
He's gonna be in Glengarry Glen Ross on Broadway.
I heard about
Culkin that. And what's his face? I feel bad. He's a comedy legend, Mr. Show.
Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, Bob Odenkirk, and the fact that Bill Burr is playing the character I played when I was in Glengarry.
Oh, that's amazing! Which character is that? Is that
Moss? It's Ed Harris's character.
Ed Harris's character.
In the movie. Yeah,
got it.
Come on, that's perfect.
Yeah,
that's
perfect.
So
I wish I hope there's a taping of it.
That would be excellent. Because I'm right now seriously like how would we work that out? How
I kind of want to go get up to New York and see.
Emily and I finally finished Succession, and so Kieran Culkin, that's a draw, and
Bill Burr's in there, and Bob Odenkirk. Who's Bob Odenkirk playing?
He's playing the Jack Lemmon character.
Okay.
Leslie. And Kieran Culkin's playing Ricky Roma, the Al Pacino character.
Got it.
So it's gonna be a very, very interesting production. I think the casting is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very interesting.
Oh, and Michael McKean.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Kieran Culkin, Bob Odenkirk, Michael McKean, and Bill Burr.
Wow.
Wow. Hey. And I wonder who's playing the the what's it character. Put that coffee down.
That character's not in the play.
It's not in the play.
Alec Baldwin's character was written for the movie.
That's I feel like what he should have done what he did for. Is it the same? Oh no, I'm mixing up Mamet and fucking what's his name? The guy, the You Can't Handle the Truth guy.
Sure.
You know who I'm talking about.
Jack Nicholson.
Is that Aaron Sorkin?
Aaron Sorkin. That was Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Yeah, Aaron Sorkin. Jesus Christ.
Because because he took that speech from he rewrote the speech and the character from the movie into revivals of the play.
Right. Yeah.
For A Few Good Men. There we go.
That's fun.
Why could I not think that?
I'll tell you what, if you want an experiment in weirdness, go see, if you can, a high school production of A Few Good Men. because I'll tell you, I used to be involved in theater enough when we were in Savannah that I would occasionally get asked to judge one-act play festivals and stuff like that, usually high school kids, and they'd give you like $100 and a sandwich, and that sounds great. I'd love a sandwich. And one of the weirdest things I ever saw was a high school production of A Few Good Men, and they were good. Just it was so jarring to see these 16-year-olds playing these characters,
right?
Because it's so grim and political and very kind of complicated and
dark.
And yeah, it was a weird choice. It was a very weird choice, but they did fine. As far as I don't remember it being particularly bad. I remember the main character. He came on in the courtroom scene without a tie on, and I was like, that would never fly. Like that's you're not military ain't gonna let you do that. And
they're not gonna.
No. Yeah, and he was like, I can't find my tie, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, that's fine. It's, theater.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
So it's going to run through the end of June, looks like. June 28th. Tickets are stupid expensive.
Yeah. That's it's
and also, even if you're looking now, so the show starts April, like this week or something like that. I think it's this week.
April 1st. Tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
yeah.
So the show starts tomorrow, ends at the end of June. Even if you go to the end of June looking for tickets, it's going to be really hard finding seats together.
Well, yeah, seats together and seats that are less than $350.
Yes.
Over here. Holy shit.
It is tough. So this has been the Broadway Report.
I know you guys are excited. I know you love following us on our ADHD addled micro obsessions. So please look for it. Next week it'll be physics. I don't know why.
Yeah. So yeah. It apparently I mean almost every Broadway show is recorded. They just almost never release them.
You can. I remember when I was a intern in New York City. There was I think it was the New York Public Library has all of them, and all you need to do, you could just go and watch. You just had to watch it there.
You have to watch it there. That makes sense.
So they had every Broadway show that ever existed in there. It's really great. That's even. It just goes to show you that even if you don't want to act or anything like that, New York might be a great place for you if you want to be like a theater nerd, because
playwright, critic, or just somebody who just loves to absorb the theater. It's ain't no place
it's all there
like New York for that stuff. So yeah, let's put the body in the marsh. We don't need to keep talking about this.
Let's marsh it.
When I tell you to dump a body in the marsh. You dump them in the marsh.
All right, we're starting at chapter 9. It's 7 years earlier than when we last left off. And James 005, a Spartan 2, we're following him, and we get the events of the fall of Reach. Basically, they're trying to intercept some navigation data on Gamma situation. What is it? It's like the station, Gamma Station or something like that.
Yeah. It's Fall of Reach era. They're trying to get the shit taken care of and all that.
Yeah. And this is actually really interesting. We were just talking about this because this is where we find out that James Solomon, the mercenary Spartan, is James 005, who is actually the only Spartan at the time, at least, I don't know of now, but in Halo history, that was genuinely MIA. Yeah. Because Spartans don't die. Even if you watched his head get blown off, you just report him as MIA to create this illusion that they're immortal. It's very Persian of them. Very cool.
Yes, and I think, and if I recall correctly, because it's almost like this book does, and it's kind of neat. It does remakes of previous like stories within it. Yeah, like this is the second time it's done it, right? And this is basically a remake of an excerpt from Fall of Reach, right? When he dies. But in Fall of Reach, I believe they more clearly assume he's dead, you know?
Yeah, he gets cast out into space.
He gets shot by a needler and cast out into space.
Yeah. Yeah. And so basically the idea is that he went into like a comatose state and Oni and I found him and resuscitated him.
A year later.
Yeah.
Is some severe Warhammer 40K Space Marine shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's some xenomorph shit. Like it's like find the alien queen floating around in space and try to harvest her anyway. It's nuts. But this is when we find out that these two people are one and the same. And this is actually the tying up of kind of a character. God, it's been around for a long time. Like this is a deep cut is what this is. So we cut forward to James. He has been basically working as a mercenary for Oni since then. I don't know if people say Oni. I'm just going to. It's where my head goes. Sure. I can't say Oni. He is currently orbiting his base of operations, this kind of backwater planet where he hangs out, and it's basically so he's like hermiting up. Basically, it's like it's this. It kept making me think of like the little bumfuck towns in Alaska. Mm-hmm. It's just got the one shitty bar and a few people, and they all know each other, and they all leave each other alone because you don't know why they moved to this town, but you're pretty sure it ain't good. It's that kind of thing. So we learn a little more about his background from the Spartan program to the mercenary level. And basically we learn that he daydreams about retiring, but not really. Like he wants to retire, but he knows that he's addicted to this lifestyle and he doesn't have anything without it. Which I think is great because the parallel, you said it yourself just now, the parallels between this world and like the 40K universe is really interesting. And it's something that they, at least in the Horus Heresy era books, they dealt with a lot with these Space Marines who are bred to be warriors, and someone will say, well, we're doing this until there's no more war. And they're like, what, am I going to become a farmer? What? There's no end to war. Like this is just what this is. We're just doing this forever. Some of them assumed that from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we cut to chapter 10. We are back with Tool Juran after the fight that took out Keto Dean. When we last left her, she was basically when we last left her, she was in a destroyed war sphinx, just about to go down with the ship, literally, and she barely survived. She gets back to the group, and the arbiter that she's following is basically vying for alliance with humans, which is just disgusting to a lot of them, including her. The idea of teaming up with the humans after just a generation of war with them is insane to her. So she meets with the shipmaster, who we get a little information on him. He was kind of a vicious warlord during the war, but now that it's been kind of peacetimey, he's softening, and she's not a big fan of that. Right. She meets another female shipmistress that she only knows from reputation. It's a very big deal because women aren't exactly encouraged to be in these positions, so having two is crazy.
I thought that was kind of interesting where like she meets this female. She's like, oh yeah, that's cool. You know, it's somebody else. I think the funny thing about this character is like it's cool because of how badass she is, but also she's kind of annoying with how like, fuck the humans. She is, you know, it's like a little bit like, I am looking at her as like, are you gonna betray them to the Banished or something? You got real true believer. You're just kind of currently pissed off at the Banished for being fake or whatever. So I don't know.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head, because the thing I kept coming back to as I read through this is when you're meeting these ex-Covenant people, this organization is very MAGA, because you've got the opportunists, you've got the true believers, you've got everything in between. Everyone's got their reason, and they've all kind of united under this banner, and it's a very uneasy alliance for that reason, with a lot of people fucking each other over in the process. Right. So the deal is they're going to apprehend a leader of the Order of Restoration, which is, kind of an old school Covenant order, like a neo-Covenant kind of order. Right. To find Lithos, which is some sort of weapon. And we find out basically it's the same subroutine that the humans are going after that will get them access to the domain. Right. So everyone's this is just Halo's. It's a mad world. Like, that's just all this is. It's just a crazy cavalcade of characters.
Everybody's going for it. You got Dom DeLuise. Was he in a mad world?
He better have been. I haven't seen that in years.
It feels like a guy.
Look at this. Sid Caesar, Buddy Hackett, Phil Silvers, Ethel Merman,
Milton
Mickey
Berle,
Rooney, Jonathan Winters, sure. Maybe not.
Maybe not. All right.
Maybe not. Good cast though. Buster Keaton. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Just a great, it's a bunch of wacky characters. And that's what we're dealing with here, essentially. It's just all these people all going after the same MacGuffin. Yeah. So they want to investigate Reach to learn more about it, but they need permission from the humans, which just, again, is just sour to Joran. The idea that we're going to ask the humans permission for anything is disgusting. And she basically calls them their version of the N-word. That's the impression I got. She says some human slur, and her boss just kind of goes, get over here. Just like pulls a mom and like grabs her by her elbow and says, stop, you're making a scene. My sister did that to me and my brother once. She grabbed the soft part of our arm on the other side of the elbow and just kind of, grab right here, like grabbed like on the other, and grabbed it and pulled us in real close and went, you are making a scene. And you got chills. It was like, Mom, oh my God. It was terrifying.
This is not for saying the N-word, though. This is not.
No, for the record, this is just because I am who I am. A guy who doesn't say the N-word. So there we go. So he chews her out. She apologizes and is told, like, hey, look, you're probably going to be fighting alongside humans. So you better get to liking it. Or at least keep your ignorant slurs in your skull. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever, do you like human stories, Tal Duran? Because you're in one.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's it. Look, I realize that the majority of the characters in here are Xenos. Still a human story. Hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
These have a hard human bias. They always have. Which actually will come up in this because there's a lot of shades of gray in this book.
Yeah.
Cut to chapter 11. Abigail Cole. She's on Nysa, which is a secret base of humans and Spartans training. The techies are trying to recover Black Box, the AI, without destroying it, because as we found out last time, Black Box is past his shelf life, basically. Doing this in front of the Sankeli, the alien allies, these new allies. They really don't want to lose face. This is about trying to show them we know what we're doing. Everyone's trying to impress everybody else at this point.
Right.
And our friends from the previous chapter are observing. So that's, we do have the humans and the Sankeli together.
Right.
Their quarry, Doc Nesto, is on a planet called Venezia. And they discuss the idea that the humans and the aliens are going to work out an attack, basically.
Right.
And Doc Nesto has information about this Lithos thing, so we're going to work together to take him alive and find out what we can about this thing.
We need him alive. They repeat again and again. Yeah,
they're very emphatic on this.
Very emphatic.
The other piece of the puzzle, if that's the gatekeeper, the keymaster is over here on a world called Cascade, and that's Halsey's clone, Chloe. Black Box is resuscitated long enough to locate this clone, and so we have our two steps. We've got our Rick Moranis, we got our Sigourney Weaver. They fucked together in the first movie, right? Like they sure did. We watched that the other day, and I was like, they fucked. Like, yeah, right? Like that's pretty clear. So
they make love on top of the little stone bed. That is what opens the gate. And out steps Gozer the Gozerian.
Right. One time I turned into a dog and they helped me. So that's what, in a nutshell, it's a mad, mad, mad world. Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And Warhammer 40K. That's what we're doing.
Gozer the Gozerian. Good evening. Yeah. As a duly designated representative of the county, city, and state of New York.
Thank you, Ray. That'll do it. All right, so chapter 12. We're back with Severan. He is on Staith, which is kind of like this neutral planet. It's unnerving because you've got this weary kind of peace between everybody. You're not allowed to fight here.
Yeah.
He's looking for his Daskalo, which is kind of a mentor figure for his race. And the Scala turns out to be Dovanesto. And he's kind of trying to sneak around. He sees like a bunch of Neo Covenant soldiers who he's trying to avoid because they hate his ass because of who his dad is. He finds him in a gigantic decommissioned human spacecraft that he's basically using as an apartment.
Right.
It's pretty cool, actually. And the guy he is, I forget, I wrote it down somewhere, but his mentor is one of the Prophet aliens, who led the Covenant in the first trilogy, basically.
Yes. He's like, he's like the guy. He was like they kind of hint that he was basically the main dude, even though he's not. There wasn't supposed to be one above the other. He's more or less the guy.
Like, right. Yeah. And he's a genius and just a prophet, like the prophet to end all prophets, and probably one of the last of his race. It's heavily implied that they are almost extinct. And he's also thousands of years old. Like he has kept up rejuvenation procedures to like
and I looked them up.
Body.
These guys look like they look like the Kaminoans from Star Wars, the clone, the people who the necks. They're kind of very long and whatever. Yeah.
I didn't know that's what they were called. The Kaminoans. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So Dova tells him that because he's explaining, I got good news, Dad, because that's who he is to him.
Right.
Boss gave me control of almost his entire fleet, and he wants me to smack Earth around. And Dova says, don't stop at Earth. You should continue and try to get this Lithos item, and let the humans get the clone girl, and we'll get her. And we'll find we'll find a way to get her from them. Let them do the hard work on that. It's basically, it's like, it's a very Indiana Jones, there's nothing you can possess that I cannot take away kind of situation. Where it's like, we're just going to slowly follow you. We're going to wait for you to come out of the temple and then take the thing. That's their plan.
I gotta say, in terms of efficiency, Belloc was really good at his. Let me just tell you this. Watch Raiders of the Lost Ark. Belloc thoroughly wipes the floor with Indiana at every turn. He only loses because of the literal wrath of God.
Yeah, hubris, literal hubris, the definition of the word hubris, and that's what kills him. He is the Nazi equivalent of work smart, don't work hard.
Yeah,
that's what he is. And this chapter ends with the
call him Belosh.
And the human Sengeli strike force, boom, breaches the building. We're about to get our video game.
We got Rainbow Six, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six going on right now.
Exactly. we got smashing in through the windows on the jump cord, like it's all happening. But for now, we cut to chapter 13, where James is drinking his sorrows away in his shitty Alaskan hut somewhere.
Yeah.
He's in a tiny little bar. He ends up getting confronted by Octavio Morales, who we haven't basically since the very beginning of the book,
right?
Who's the head of Oni, and who has been basically his boss all this time. And he offers him a job that is going to end Cortana. And after a bunch of, and he's like, well, you're too late because I was going to quit. And they go back and forth. And finally Morales says, look, after this is over, I don't want you to be on our team. I want you to retire. I want you gone after this. So this is it. And promises that this is going to be the last one. This is an interesting moment. We get a theodicy moment, or what some people call the problem with God, comparing, but in relation to Cortana. And the idea of this is God is either. God is meant to be all powerful and all knowing, all good, and loves us. And only two of those can be true at the same time.
Right.
So, but we cut it down to two for this, where basically he realized that Cortana either has all of this, is basically invincible, or, doesn't care. It's because a really interesting thing.
I mean, Cortana would have known that these slavers were operating, or either she didn't know or she didn't care. There's basically only two outcomes.
Right. And that's just it. So I thought that was an interesting thing they threw in there. And then speaking of Cortana, three of her arbiters show up and accost them, and James just fucking kills them immediately.
He just stabs. James is the way I imagine James is. Do you remember the beginning of the first X-Men movie with Logan is at the bar?
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I refuse to believe that was not some sort of inspiration. It's very that. And we get another scene later that's also very that.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's a very 80s Commando moment where he just kills them all and then looks over at Morales and is like, I'll take the job. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we get that.
He's also, in my head, it's that Logan at the bar in X-Men, but also if you've watched any Reacher, Have you watched Reacher at all?
No,
Okay.
never watched Reacher.
So it's fun. It's a fun show. Basically, the entire premise is that it's starring Alan Ritchson, and he plays the character of Jack Reacher, who was previously played by Tom Cruise in the movies, which is absurd because in the books, Jack Reacher is a gigantic man. He is like 6'4", 300 pounds of pure muscle. Alan Ritchson is that. He's 6'4", 300 pounds.
Dude's a big side of beef. Yeah, that guy's a big fucking dude.
The entire premise of the show is he is bigger than you, and if he is not bigger than you, then he is smarter than you. Is his entire shtick, right? So at this point I would just imagine James as Reacher, where it's just like he's just a big old side of beef, you know. He's he's one of those old school Spartan 2 sides of beef, you know. They don't make them like that anymore.
Right.
You know, he's slow cooked since he was 6 years old.
That's literally, and he's devastating in combat. And the moment you put your guard down because you think he's just an idiot with a knife, like he's really good at this. It turns out
the Armigers, which in a previous book basically did a racial profiling moment on the Arbiter. In his car, remember?
That's right. That was such a great opening. I remember that. I don't always remember. I don't remember most things from the books we read.
Right.
I remember that opening. I remember being like, what is this, 24? Holy shit. Like, it was just that kind of tense.
But in this context, James kills these Armigers in like one fluid motion. It's just like knife, and it is like, I'll take the job. And Octavio's like, great, because we gotta leave right now because there's gonna be more of those things.
Yeah, that's not it. I think we all know that's not it. So that's their plan. Cut to chapter 14. Tul Jiran is attacking Dovo Nesto's human spaceship home with the Spartan Grey team. They are faced with a huge force. Like, everyone it is, again, like I said, it's our video game
large
moment. Yeah. It's like 5 people versus an army. It's clear that they were expected, and we get a really well done battle chapter. Like Halo's really good about that, where
good moments with Tul Jiran like witnessing how nuts the Spartans are. How, like, to her they looked suicidal. Like, they have an actual tactic where all they do is just run towards the enemy. It's like they're getting shot at, they run. It's pure Space Marine stuff.
Yeah,
like,
it's true. It's true.
It's you know, the tactics are for the soldiers. The ramming is for the Space Marine.
Right. These aren't gonna do anything to us. We've got shields. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's a great chapter for the good. You know, you get a lot of setup stuff with Halo. Halo's very for a first person shooter style game. It's a very smart one, and these books kind of reflect that. You get a lot of moments of weapon porn and history and all kinds of good stuff, and then you'll get a kind of an extra. This is an extra long chapter that is just full to the brim with, you know, guns and shots fired and heads blowing up and all that. It's terrific. It's really really good stuff. Yeah. So unfortunately, though, Dova and the company escape, but not before they kill one of Severin's captains.
Dude, one of his guys. Yeah, one of his big dudes. They're fighting their way up the ramp to the escape craft, and it's like basically the only reason they escape is because Dova and Severin get in and turn the big old guns. You know, the guns that the Spartan shields aren't going to stop.
Right. Guns that are meant to shoot at battleships like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So they do escape, but the Spartans manage to capture one of the Sankelia alive. So they've got at least someone to torture / interrogate. Enhanced interrogation.
Amidst as Tul Jiran notices, amidst a pile of dead bodies that a Spartan is standing on, he's like, I got this one alive.
Yeah. I think one of them is, this guy's alive. Yeah. And he's lucky. He's very lucky. Chapter 15, we've got Abigail Cole. We cut to her in the sky tracking the escaping vessel. We get bad implications from the fact that the vessel they're in is a banished vessel. They didn't know that this guy was allied with the Banished, and that means that the Banished know about the Lithos, and that is, they did not bargain for that. They did not count on that, because if it's just ex-Covenant fanatics or something like that, pirates, we can handle all that shit. But the Banished is a honest to God army fighting force, and that's going to complicate things. It's a fly in the ointment. They cannot blow up Dovo's ship because they seem to be the only people who don't know where the damn Lithos is. So they got to get him alive. So they're in a predicament with that. They're being chased by everyone and their mother, including a new banished vessel that nobody recognizes. No one knows what the hell this
not
thing
on
is.
Our registry.
This is not our thing. It's described as like a jagged arrowhead. I was like, fucking tight, man. That's cool.
That's awesome. Actually made me the first thing that popped into my head was the Executor, the massive Star Destroyer. Darth Vader Star Destroyer.
That thing was so cool. Yeah, so we get a giant battleship fight, which I didn't know I missed. I remember the first three that we read, the old school ones, had a lot of really good naval space battles. Yeah. And it's never something I craved, and this reminded me how much fun those are.
So good, so well written. Like something about the idea of you have this Captain Cole just basically in her element. And she's just giving the orders, and it's not like they're people aren't like shouting and yelling at each other. She's just like, like keep charging the Mac cannons, fire at will, like all this stuff.
She is in control. And she's thinking back to like what her father would do and how would he handle this situation. And it's great. It's really good stuff. We do get a moment where we see some ex-Covenant ships kind of show up out of nowhere. They're not doing anything. They're just kind of floating there. And they're like, oh, yeah, great. Ex-Covenant too. All right. This is not good. This is too many people. We are already fucked. They managed, miracle of miracles, they managed to take out like 4 of the attacking dreadnoughts.
Of Severin's. Yeah, Severin's dreadnoughts, they're able to kill a bunch with the Mac cannons.
Yeah, they take a bunch of it, and so they're kind of at a make or break moment. And they get a transmission from Severin, who is just pissed. And he tells him, I was going to come, I'm heading over to, guess what? Blow up Earth. I'm going to fucking kill you guys. You killed a bunch of my people. Your computer game killed my planet. Yeah. And you guys couldn't keep control of her. And now my fucking planet is gone.
My home planet is gone.
My home planet is gone. It's toast.
I'm coming for my pound of flesh.
Right. And I hold you guys responsible. So not only will blowing up Earth be my duty, it will be a pleasure. And just cuts I just wanted you to know. Yeah. Just wanted you to know. And Cole's like, okay, we got to get the fuck out of here. We got to go.
Well, we got to go get Earth ready for this.
Got to go deal with that. Yeah. Chapter 16, we get Severin, who is pissed off, lost one of his captains and several important vessels with countless members of his species on there. And there ain't more coming.
There ain't more coming
because the planet's gone. This is where he's clearly our bad guy, but holy shit, do I get where he's coming from? He is pissed, and it's like, I'm not on his side, but I'm on his side,
But I understand, and I get it. I get him blaming, Earth and the UNSC for Cortana's actions. Like, you guys let this AI run rampant past. It's like this was your thing. And
this is
it
your
is now
responsibility.
destroying planets just to make points, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And the humans, we do later get the humans going, oh fuck, like they're kind of right. Yeah, that's crazy. So he goes to his Dascalo, to his mentor. One of the things we do find out is that because the Dascalo is a prophet, because he's one of the old Covenant bosses, this is not going to go over well with his bosses in the Banished. They do not have there's not a lot of love lost between them. So he needs to keep this under wraps. He's got to be very careful with this. The only thing that his mentor kept was a stone tablet that he's analyzing. We do find out, he tells him that the ex-Covenant ships that popped up were actually allies. He said, yeah, I'm working with them. I'm working with the ex-Covenant. Dovo's saying this. The moment we got out, I told him just to stand by, to keep an eye out just in case.
Yeah.
And it's led by Sally Nyan, who's another Covenant fanatic. Severin has got some serious doubts. This is really a tough pill for him to swallow, because getting information from his mentor, who happens to be a former leader of the Covenant, is one thing, but to try and ally the Banished with the remnants of the Covenant, who, that's not great. And they want him dead too, on top of everything else, because of his father. So he is not thrilled about this whole thing. Dovo translates the tablet to show him what their plan is, to go into the domain. And part of the plan is that he's going to sacrifice his physical body to enter the domain, which we saw in the last book we read. We learned about the spirit entering the domain. And he says, so you're going to die? And Dovo says, actually, I'm going to be more alive than I've ever been. Yeah. I will have a wealth of power.
And it makes me wonder about the main character of the last book we read, the Didact. That's the Didact, right?
Yeah.
He kind of, at the end of that, he was like in a pretty good spot within the domain. So I guess we're just kind of like, I guess nobody else really knows that. I guess we're not like, they're like, everybody is kind of looking at the domain and like, this is how we get to Cortana. And I'm like, well, I think there's other things going on in the domain that you're not totally aware of.
And I think you're absolutely right. I think because we have been reading this new series of books, and it's kind of perfect. The first, the second, the third one, and this leading all up to this. They've all set little bricks in play here. So it's I think you're right. I think we're not done with the Didact. I think we're going to see a little of him. So let's see, where was I? He tells him about that. And Severin's not thrilled about that. He's like, okay, great, but you'll be dead. I'm not happy about that. So he knows where the Lithos is. And the tablet is his tool for being able to find him. And he says that the humans are going to bring the clone to them. This is also a moment where he's like showing him on the tablet. He goes, "Did you see this passage?" And he goes, I don't speak the language of the gods. And he goes, well, it says this. And it's like, that could say anything for all we know. Like
I'm reading this and I was like, oh, Dova he's a grifter. He is. He is Grifter McGee. Just he is I doubt he ever believed in anything,
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. For all he knows, this is like a receipt from some Paleolithic Target where he got a pair of khakis he wants to turn back in.
It basically just says this guy's copper is not very good.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's that. Was that Babylonian? Is that Sumerian? It's one of those things.
The copper. This is like this second time I've referenced it in like a couple months.
It was like the first review.
It was Akkadian.
Akkadian. Okay.
Oldest customer complaint from 1750 BCE.
I love it. Nothing changes. So all right. Finally, we get to chapter 17. We are back with James, who is such a kick-ass character. It just a lot of, anytime we're back to James, I'm stoked. So he's on Cascade, looking for Chloe. His lead, the only lead he could find for her was she's mentioned as a dependent on some tax forms. And so he's got a gist of where she is. He goes into a bar that he finds out is like basically the wealthiest, most popular bar in the area. Everyone goes there. And he goes all Rorschach on everyone's asses. He just like... He's just like breaking fingers and killing a lot of people, really.
It's like, because he goes to the bartender and he's like, what do you know? And the bartender's like, tells the other guys, like, get him. And so, he kills 3 of them or something. I don't know.
It's like 5 of them and he kills. He's like, I think I killed 3 of them, something like that. And it's like, Jesus Christ. It's pretty brutal.
And the bartender's like, fine, they're down the street.
Yeah. They're this place called Mikos Wheel. So he beats up the bouncer at that place, and who leads him inside to a place where he clearly is meant to be ambushed by a bunch of gun-toting guards, kills them no problem, kills him like it ain't no thing, finds Miko, who I forget the name of the alien, but it's like an avian kind of alien.
He's one of the jackals.
Yes. And just, yes, that's it. And and it's kind of hilarious because this is another great reminder of who we're dealing with here, because there's all these legends about Mikos. No one's ever seen Mikos. No one knows who Mikos is. And within 5 minutes, Mikos is cowering on the floor and being thrown out a window, by the way.
But what I love is the lead up to Mikos. So obviously James like kills all these guys, and like the guy, I think the bouncer is still alive, and the bouncer, he shoves the bouncer towards the door, and the bouncer's like knocks on the door, and he gets riddled with bullets from a machine gun.
Shredded. Yeah.
And it's Mikos is in there with like a 7.62 millimeter machine gun. Like he's like standing there like a mobster with a Tommy gun, just firing through the door at anything that comes through.
This is totally a scene in a mobster movie, by the way. Like, this is like the guy goes into the bar, the speakeasy, and it all goes to hell. That's totally what this is. Yeah. So when he takes him out, he
give it 10 seconds where I pump your guts full of lead.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
1, 2, 10.
10. Yeah. And he beats him up a little bit, tells him to swear to him, and
swear to me.
Yeah, and he's like, fine, she's over. He tells her where she is, and he finds like a curtain, and we get some shade thrown at the 21st century. By the way, he says that she's got these old curtains. They're ugly as hell, probably from the 21st century. He's like, oh, come on.
Okay.
Suddenly, I get real defensive of my curtains,
James.
You know. Come on. And he kind of ties him up in it and tosses him out the 3-story window. And he's just hanging there. It basically is a distraction. Everyone's going to focus on this guy.
He throws him out the window, and James is like, well, I don't know if his weight is, if the curtains are actually going to hold his weight.
Maybe
it's
not,
fine.
Actually, now that I think of it. Yeah. It's a win-win situation. So he makes his way to the room that Chloe's in. He grabs the very uncooperative Chloe, who is scared to death. She's a little kid. She's scared to death, and he drugs her. Unfortunately, he hates himself for doing it, but he kind of gasses her, and she passes out. He wraps her up.
Now she only has
like
one
2
leg.
meters tall.
She only has the one leg.
Yes,
and that's
and she only has one leg.
That is the person that you see on the back cover. There she is.
There she is. I think So that's who she. He wonders, like, did somebody do that to her? And they're like, no, it's probably congenital. It's probably what she was born with.
Right.
So, and by the way, she is supposed to be doing this gangster's money, like his numbers, like
because she's a clone of Halsey,
right?
Yeah, so she's like
whiz with numbers.
She's super smart. Yeah.
And so he drugs her, jumps out another window, calls his motorcycle, his like tank treaded motorcycle tight, and like bundles her up like in a baby Bjorn over his chest, basically, and goes screaming off into the city. All the criminals, this is a town full of criminals, have called the cops. So the cops are now chasing him on their motorbikes. We get a great motorcycle chase. James says a cab and loses them one by one, and escapes to his ship.
He really does say fuck the cops.
And when he gets there, he does. He says he's like, yeah, they're shitty cops. They're bad cops. Got it. And which I think is them covering their ass in case people got mad about it. Being like, no, these are bad cops, so it's fine. You can do whatever you want to them. But when he gets on the ship with Chloe, he has the usual thoughts of, how did this girl get here? Why is she the key? And was that the hard part? Because his AI is like, well, that's probably the hard part done, and we all know it is not.
It is not going to be the hard part.
But that's the end of chapter 17, and that's the end of where we are today. So, Kevin, what do you think so far?
I really like it so far. I think it's a fun story. I think I'm in love with James's chapters. They're a lot of like, rogue cop action figure stuff that you could tell Jeremy was you could tell Jeremy was having a lot of fun writing this stuff, because it was a blast. It's a blast to read that stuff. But also then it's like mixed in with, Cole and the other characters with the naval combat. That's a lot of fun. I think so far the Talgeron is like my least favorite point of view. That's a tough one. Yeah. Kind of a wet blanket compared to the other stuff that's happening. But yeah, I like it so far. Halfway through, I'm really excited to see where it's going. What do you think?
Yeah. Same. I think it's really well written. It's really well done. I am loving the alien point of view. It's one thing to have excellent enemies. It's another thing to have complex shades of gray enemies and complex shades of gray situations, because that's what war is, for the most part anyway. And this is all very well done. It's like got inspiration from war correspondence to 80s cop movies, like you said. Right. It's a lot of good shit in here, a lot of nerdy shit, a lot of action filled shit. It's a solid piece of shit. Very good stuff. So yeah, really enjoying it. All right, Kevin. Well, now that that's over, I have a single question to ask you. What are you playing?
Oh, I didn't know that you were going to
I know.
It's always a surprise. It's a
little firecracker thrown your way just to keep you on your toes.
Just to keep me on my toes. What have I been playing? I'm still trying to finish Eldorand, which is that the side scroller Metroidvania with it's got some blasphemous vibes. There was actually an enemy that was like pure blasphemous. It was this guy who was like he was like experimenting on creating demons or something, and they were being born out of his stomach. So he was like strung up in the middle of the room, and like the boss fight is like killing him, but he's like constantly spawning new enemies like out of his stomach. It's really gross.
That's fun. I like that.
Yeah. I saw some like corrupted noble enemies where it was like a noble sitting on a what's the thing where the people are holding it? It's like you sit on the thing, and then like servants are like holding the
a litter.
A litter, yeah. So like corrupted noble is like sitting on a litter, and I was like, that is a literal enemy from Blasphemous. I think.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, I am really enjoying it. I'm hoping to finish it up soon. I think I am able to do the final boss fight now, but there's like one final area that I'm like exploring a little bit, just to level up a little bit more, because the final boss fight seems a little bit more punishing than the rest of the game has been so far. So that I've been playing that. I've also been playing Atomfall, which is it's a Fallout-like game. You are in an area of Britain where you wake up in the middle of a bunker, and it's the 1950s, and it's after like this nuclear accident, and the entire area has been quarantined away from the rest of Britain. And you don't remember anything. You just wake up in this bunker, and a scientist finds you, and he's been stabbed and he's bleeding out, and he's like, you got to get to this place. That's basically the only thing he tells you. And then he gives you a card, and he dies, and you just are thrown out into the world. And it is really fascinating, and it does a lot of cool things that I think Fallout could learn from, because
it looks like a very British Fallout. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Very British Fallout. It doesn't have any real RPG elements. You don't like level up. You can learn skills, but you don't level up. There was a quote in an article I read for it where I think it was GC Vasquez wrote it. Yes, he did. Where it's he wrote, as the player, you can get better at handling enemies, but your character will never be harder to kill. So it's one of those games where it's like you're going to be squishy the entire game. If an enemy with a gun headshots you, that's game over. Like the entire time you gotta be smart and sneaking around and all this stuff. The thing I really love about the game, though, is the quest structure. You aren't given explicit quests. You're given the one thing at the beginning is get to the interchange. Other than that, when you get out into the world, you find leads and rumors and things like that. It's not like a quest to go do this for somebody. It's like there's a lead. You know, like this person might make a request of you, but you don't know necessarily how to tackle it. You can tackle it in any number of ways. It's more like you're trying to unravel the mystery while also staying alive. So it's really fascinating. The other thing that I find that's kind of neat is there's like crafting in it, but it's not like survival crafting. You don't have to eat or anything like that. There's no hunger meter, but you know, you can buy, you can trade for blueprints and craft certain things. The other thing that's really cool about the barter system is that there is no money in the game. There's no money available in the game. Everything you have to trade something that you have to someone else to get something from them. And different people will have different wants. So I was talking to a dude who he's like a military guy, because there's basically military units that got trapped into this quarantine zone. And they're a little bit fascist. They're a little bit fashy, right?
Sure.
There's like the outlaws on one side, there's the military dudes on the other, and then there's like regular people in between. So there's this one military dude who you can barter with, and if you try to give him like a grenade, for example, to trade something, he's like, I don't want that. I have all the grenades I could ever want. Right. So it like doesn't move the needle on the barter system. But yeah, it's a very British Fallout.
That's cool. All right.
It's and it's worth checking out. Atomfall.
That sounds really interesting, and it's gorgeous. I really love the.
It's gorgeous.
The art direction here.
Yeah. It's got some good art direction. Made by a developer named Rebellion, and that makes a whole lot more sense as to who made it. So Atomfall is, I was sitting there as I was playing it, And you're like, you know what this feels like? The maps feel like Sniper Elite. And then I clicked on the dev, and it was like, oh, it's the company they make the Sniper Elite games. Okay,
makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So it's their idea of doing a Fallout like sort of game.
Right. I mean, they were always good at level design, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Sniper Elite is fun stuff. So yeah, Rebellion is the name of the company that made it. It's worth checking out. It's worth checking out. But that's what I've been playing.
Nice.
Phil, what are you playing?
Well, I finished the first half of Root Trees Are Dead.
Okay.
Basically where you are. I got through the stuff that was already on, and now all the new material I have to get into. I'm at a stopping point, so I'm going to give it a minute, but holy shit, that was fun. Just a good story, good mystery. I was impressed. I really enjoyed that. I'm still playing the shit out of Foundation. I have put more hours into, let me see if I can say this is true. I have put in more hours into Foundation than I have in Civ 7.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And Civ 7 I'm enjoying more and more as I go. It's growing on me, but it's it's not as engaging to me as I thought it was going to be, and Foundation is really hitting me in all the good places. I think part of it's because it makes me think of Banished, which is still one of my favorite games of all time. It's a gentler, kinder Banished, but it has a similar vibe, or at least similar goals. It's not as brutal. But anyway, I'm really enjoying that. But I think the game that I played this week that was the most interesting was The Children of Clay. This is
something about that name. Just I don't know, but get into
it. It's upsetting. It's upsetting. It's a 15-minute free game.
Okay.
It takes me about 15 minutes to play. It's similar to like the Root Trees Are Dead, for example, where you're looking stuff up and you have to find clues to. It is an archaeology game. You have an artifact in front of you. The artifact is horrifying. And you have got to figure out the mystery of this artifact by looking for clues, looking stuff up in your history books. It's cosmic horror, Lovecraftian. It is stop motion animation, which you don't notice that much, but it's enough that it gives the motion a herky-jerky kind of feeling, which is very atmospheric. I really enjoyed it. This is it's a one-person team. I think he's from Hungary. And if you go into the discussions, people talking about things, a lot of people are saying what's on my mind, which is I would pay for a fuller version of this, for something that like goes beyond this. An archaeology mystery game like this with Lovecraftian vibes and searching through the darkness for mysteries that man isn't supposed to know. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. That's good stuff right there. It's super good stuff. And it's hard to make a Lovecraftian game and be true to Lovecraft, because so much of Lovecraft is what is not happening to you, or what the subtlety of what's happening. And the idea of you being an archaeologist investigating this Paleolithic thing, I can't believe this is the first time I've seen this. Like this is in retrospect, it seems like like this is obvious. It's free. It took me 15 minutes to beat. It's very atmospheric. It doesn't have jump scares, which thank you for that. But it left me very unsettled. Great game.
Nice.
I mean it. If you are listening to this and you have 15 minutes, download The Children of Clay and play it. It is that easy, and it is really very engaging. It made me think a lot of not for a lot of the same reasons, but it made me think of the Iron Lung in that kind of like creepy, atmospheric, world building sort of indie horror sort of thing. And
so you're saying that Markiplier is going to make a movie out of it?
Probably at this rate. I hope he does. This developer got to the overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam, has got like hundreds of reviews. I hope this developer gets some attention because he's earned it. This is very, very cool stuff. I'd love to see more of this. So yeah, so that's a really fun one. You have no excuse. Play it. Really good stuff. So, but that's me.
Yeah, awesome. So that'll do it for tonight's episode. Thank you all for listening and watching, or however you ingest it. Some people, it like they get the podcast served under a little dome, and then a waiter cracks it, and you breathe the mist in. A deconstructed podcast. That's what it's called.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and then you pay $700 for it. And the chef shows you the Michelin star that he has, and you're a better person for it.
You go home educated and hungry.
Educated, erudite, erudiated.
It's basically getting a master of science in evening. And isn't that worth it? That worth it?
That's totally worth it.
I'd say it was. Yeah.
So follow us on Blue Sky, and you know that would be great if you could. Yeah. If you could follow us on Blue Sky. Now, Phil, I do have a question you might be able to help me with. Based on some of your fiction work, a hellmouth has opened at the intersection near my house. What do I gotta do to close that bad boy up?
All right, Kevin, I've told you this like 5 times. Like this keeps, I'm not blaming you, but all right, just one last time. You've got to remember